What is going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. So I moved my Marvel 1/6 here. I wanted to try something and I'm going to show it to you guys, and I'm potentially considering buying something. I know I just made a video 2 days ago, but this is a really good deal and I think I can make it work both financially and space-wise, no problem. So I want to show this to you. I've done this before and I actually do like this. I mean, it does give me limited space. Like, I have to walk on the side when I'm walking and I simply just look at this. And before I actually only did 3 in one of those shells. This time I just did 4, and then this to give good lighting. And when I do lighting, I actually do a mix of yellow and white. I think that's actually the best look. And then it's all Avenger posters, and I remove posters here so I can slide against the wall if I ever need to, and that Avengers poster there. So you got 2 Avenger 1 posters, and then the Avengers 1 cast. And I actually ended up doing Vision down there since he's technically not part of Avengers 1. We got Thor vs. Loki, Captain, and Iron Man here. And this does have the light up feature. Chitauri Commander, Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Hulk. And I think it looks really good. I like this. It allows me to view all the pieces, honestly, better than where they were before. It's a little bit more spaced out, I will say. I don't have the ground and backdrop, but I think it works really good, and I do like it. And I just put the movie right there, sort of like to block that, sort of, plus allow me to see that. Now, here's what I'm thinking. So, of course, I do want Thor and Captain America life-size busts. I want to get all the MCU busts from Queen Studios. But space is also a huge concern. So here is what we've done. We've thrown the Iron Man Mark 50 bust down here and actually connected it to my light-up system since this one has the USB. It still is so annoying that the arc reactor has to be charged every time you want to use it. You have to press a button. I really wish Queen would stop doing that and just stick to either... Honestly, what they should do is a rechargeable battery that's also able to be plugged in. That is the best way to do it. But as you can see, we can fit the Mark 50 here. In addition, we fit his rear repulsors, which I love those. I think they're super cool and unique. And then to the right of him, you have the Nano Gauntlet. And I'd actually probably switch these two. So Spider-Man is next to Iron Man, because that also works better for the Nano Gauntlet, because Vision never used the Nano Gauntlet. And I think it just worked better, these two right there. Do a little switcheroo. Hulk goes here with the Thor hammer, Captain helmet, and shield. Since they're like the missing life-size bus here. This will be Loki 1, not Loki Infinity War. And then we'll get the Mark 7 bus back, and that'll go right there. And then I put this right here, and then just the Tesseract right there. If I ever need to move the Tesseract, I can. I've also thought potentially of changing this shelf out to a 60-incher, which extends this out, and just removing Bane, like this Bane bust, maybe throw it back there or wherever. And then I could technically put a bust right here, like an MCU bust. If I wanted to do Doctor Strange there, put Thor, probably not Cap, but maybe Cap. If you had 12 more inches, and then you have about 12 inches here, 24 inches depth, his shield could be hanging over. Potentially it could work. I mean, I'd really love to get all the MCU busts, since MCU still, in my opinion, is the greatest movie, linking movies ever created, like the Infinity Saga, and I don't think that will ever be topped in our lifetime. It simply can't be topped. It's impossible. But there's definitely some things to consider. I was talking to my buddy, and he was like, should we consider moving the Marvel bus back here? And then move the Justice League 1/3. Because over here it is more spacious. You get 3 big garage shelves and a half. 3.5 big garage shelves. Where here you get 1 big garage shelf, 2 small shelves, and a corner glass shelf. So, I mean, width-wise, this is equivalent to 1 big shelf, but then you're limited right here. So, obviously, I gain a lot more top shelf space for the Marvel stuff. In addition, though, if you do that and we have to move Hulkbuster, this shelf, as you can see, is not flush against the wall because he is incredibly deep and he's literally almost touching the wall. So if I was to put Hulkbuster here, he would literally stick out a solid 4.5, 5 inches. I could maybe angle him. And I'd also question where, like, do I gain that much more space if I do this? For example, let's say I did Hulkbuster in the corner and I angle him this way. Maybe it could work. Maybe not. Maybe it's too close to, Superman. I could scoot Superman a little bit over if I needed to. And granted, if I moved Wonder Woman over, like right there, moved this over, Superman completely to the right, and then move it over, I might be able to fit Hulkbuster right there. Now, Mark 7 1/4 does not have to go next to him, but it does look really cool, and I do like it. So let's say hypothetically you did Hulkbuster with Mark 7 bust. And then you'd do Loki and Thanos bust. And then you could do Hulk, Thor, Captain America. It still doesn't leave space for Doctor Strange in that scenario. But that would be the one that would be missing, would be Doctor Strange. I still question if I could fit Doctor Strange down low as well. They do have him marked pretty tall, but I think they're including a lot of his hair. And I do wonder if I perhaps, boosted a shelf, if I could fit Doctor Strange down low. Like if I made that shelf just taller and put Doctor Strange right there, moved Thanos there, moved Spidey right here, and moved Groot, and then just boosted that and did Doctor Strange down low, because then Doctor Strange would be part of like that bust display. I could also move these busts back in this display if I wanted to, but it could work good having Doctor Strange right there, just having this shelf boosted up and then doing Hulk bust on that, since Hulk busts benefits from a taller shelf. So that could be a scenario where I could technically fit Captain America, Thor, Loki, and, although it'd probably start about right there. If you do Hulk Buster, Iron Man bust, Loki, Thanos, Thor, Captain, and Hulk, it would be pretty tight because of Hulk Buster. Hulk Buster's such a beast. Ideally, it'd almost work better if Hulkbuster was separate from the bust display, and just kept like here. But then DC, it's really limited, And putting Justice League in just the top shelf over here, or the Dark Knight Rises over there, and then you'd have to do Justice League here again with just Harley and Harley bust. That's how I'd probably have to do it, is Justice League, the 5 OG there, with Darkseid, Steppenwolf, Shazam, Harley bust, and Harley. And then, although technically we could throw Shazam down low to do Black Adam top shelf. It's definitely a tricky one. I'm really sick of reorganizing my collection, I'm going to be honest. It's like, I want to get to that point where I don't have to move a bunch of statues, because honestly, it's a lot of work, and you risk damaging your statues, and I've already got everything set up right now where I just add Darkseid, Steppenwolf, Black Adam. This setup's complete. You got like 14 1/3s in a row. It's just the want for the trinity of Marvel, Captain America and Thor, and of course Doctor Strange. So I'm definitely trying to think what's the best route to take, and do I need 2 Iron Man busts? On one side, they are incredibly, incredibly different. The only thing that's, close is they're both red, granted a different color red, and they both have a gold-plated face. Outside of that, the busts are completely different in every humanly possible way, and they represent 2 different separate movies that I absolutely adore and love. Infinity War, my favorite movie of all time, Avengers 1, where I grew to love Marvel. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I could keep both, because I absolutely love both. I can't wait to get the Mark 7 bust back. I've also thought, so let's say I just keep Marvel here as is. What would we put there? Now, I probably could boost this shelf up if I needed to, but Hulkbuster's already getting pretty darn tall. So it's getting difficult to he's already quite tall. He's already as you can see. Captain America needs about 39 inches, and I don't think he'd work super good down low. Thor is also quite tall. Thor wouldn't fit here. Doctor Strange is a maybe, but highly unlikely because, I don't think he would just work good there. I have thought of just put Doctor Strange right here, honestly. But here's the other thing, and the main reason I also want to talk to this video. What about Pepper Potts? Now, I'm a huge fan of Gwyneth Paltrow. I fell in love with her in Shallow Hal. Thought she was absolutely gorgeous. And I loved her in the MCU. I always liked her. I loved Pepper. I thought she was amazing. So we have the Pepper Potts Mark, what was it? The rescue suit or whatever, which would give a nice color variation in this giant red display. You know, and it is an Iron Man suit. And in essence, this would be my Iron Man wall is kind of the idea. Because Iron Man is the best character of the MCU. I mean, I like Spider-Man probably the most, but personality-wise, nothing defeats Tony Stark. He's easily the best character of Marvel for me. I just like, you know, Spider-Man a lot, but Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., he is the MCU for me. So having a dedicated Iron Man display, you know, makes sense. We do Pepper Potts with the Mark 50, Mark 7 bust, Hulkbuster, Iron Man 1/4. You got, you know, the Tony Stark needs a heart, you know, like props. And then in general, just the Infinity props. I think it looks really sick. I'm going to show you a Photoshop here in a second. So let's just say hypothetically we could do that. You know, I could pick up Pepper Potts from a local collector, get her in 2 days, have her here by, you know, Friday. And she would fit. She's the exact same height as that Iron Man. And Iron Man busts, being what they are fine down low because they don't have like detailed glass eyes and teeth and silicone skin. I don't mind them down low. Although I did like the Mark 7 up high. That bust in particular, especially being next to Loki, Avengers 1 will look so sick. So think about it. Pepper Potts right there. Now some people might say, oh, you want to get the Mark 85 because it matches better. There's a few reasons I would not want to do the 85. One, I love the battle damage on this. Two, I love the rear repulsors, and this comes from my more favorite movie. I do like Infinity War more than Endgame. And then three, I don't necessarily need them to have matching bases. That's like the exact same base, just a color swap. This one gives me a different, more unique base, and I still think it pairs extremely well with Pepper Potts. So no plans to upgrade or change is how I would label it to the 85. I'd keep my 50 as is, just like this. We have Pepper. And I'd connect her as well so she always has light up as well anytime I turn on this room. And then we throw the Mark 7, new Loki, Doctor Strange here. Thor and Captain Bus, they're not going to be shipping for years. And I don't think they're going to sell out anytime soon, considering they're both 4,000. So I'm just going to have to play it by ear with both of those. I mean, I do want them, but we would have to, like, you know, figure out space because Captain is an absolute beast. Like, he is a beast. And the only spot I feel like I could potentially even fit him is if I removed this and that and did Captain Bust there. You know. Which would be very difficult to do that because, like I said, I'm building this ultimate Iron Man wall. Or we have to remove some DC 1/3 or put Marvel somewhere else. It's definitely a difficult one. You know, I feel like DC's definitely taken a lot of priority, but it's also because I'm a bigger fan of 1/3 scale, and we've gotten a lot of amazing 1/3s and busts from DC. And I do absolutely love DC. Don't get me wrong. You know, and I own a lot of Marvel 1/4. You know, I own 2 perfect Captain Americas, perfect likeness, perfect detail for their scale. I'm very happy with them. And then I do have the life-size props of Cap and, you know, both props of Thor. So, and the big advantage obviously is that silicone portrait and the presence of both. You know, and Thor being Infinity War is also super sick, being my favorite movie. So it's definitely a very tough one. Now, I do want Pepper in general, even if I do get Thor and whatnot. I still feel like, you know, she would just go great in the collection. I wanted to get your guys' 2 cents on the matter. Let me show you the Photoshop I did real quick. Alrighty, so this is kind of the idea. So Pepper would look more or less like that. So a nice blue color variation in this massive red display, and then the Mark 7 bust, of course. So, you know, I really dig the look of this in general. I think it looks really good. And there's not too many more busts I could honestly put down there. Some people were like, yo, you get something else. I mean, here's the thing. I can only fit a bust that's about 31.5 inches tall. So I could technically put Venom bust and Spidey there, but then what goes next to Captain Marvel? It's not really benefiting me a ton to just put like, you know, a different bust per se down there. Where this, I think overall the look of it is really awesome. And for the price I'll be getting Pepper, it's an absolute steal of a deal. It's like, you know, what's the price? It's, I swear, like half the cost of what Sideshow's charging. Now, Sideshow one's like $2,000 for her. Now I'm getting her way cheaper than that. So, what do you guys think of that? Yay or nay? Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Also, if you guys have any opinions on what to do in regards to Thor and Captain America life-size bust, you know, how we could potentially get it. I know some people have commented throwing them down low, but you got to realize these busts are massive. I only can fit 31.5 inches tall, so it's not like I can just throw Captain there. Captain needs 39 inches clearance. And I can't raise these shelves because of Wonder Woman's sword. I can only gain about 2 inches, you know. So it's definitely like a pickle. If anything, you'd have to move Wonder Woman horse, raise each of these shelves a solid like 7 inches each, and that would mean this shelf, these 3 shelves alone, would all be risen versus other shelves. You know, and I do prefer my shelves all the same height. I think it looks better than having shelves up and down, up and down. I'm not a huge fan of that. That's how it is in my anime room, but I'm not the biggest fan. I much prefer when I come in, everything is one level like this. I think it looks really good. The one thing I do like, though, is my DBZ 3-tier setup. But 3-tier doesn't work with 1/3s and busts. It just doesn't. They're too big of statues. Anyways, folks, that's it for today's video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Should we pick up Pepper Potts? And what about Thor and Captain America? Like I said, I could technically extend this out to 60-inch and fit, at a minimum, Doctor Strange here. Potentially, you know, someone else, who knows. But let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.